Hi, welcome to my last lecture. Yeah,
Number one,
crayons, made from color pigments and wax. They come in many shapes and sizes. They are especially malleable when heated at certain temperature. They come in many variety of shades and colors. That's what makes them unique. This is why I associate closest to a box of crayons. When I was much younger, I had a strong interest into art. I liked the style, the colors, and the structure. In fact, I would try to best imitate my works to impress my parents by coloring and scribbling all over my father's lunchbox. I expected my father to be pretty mad about the situation, but he didn't. In fact, he got tape and covered it up so he can take it to work with him every day. And that's when I learned that art can be a hobby for me to grow up with. Chapter 2 Family. Every family is unique like trees. They're all different and wonderful. We're like plants. We need soil, sunshine, and purified water with minerals added for taste. My garden of a family starts with two beings, my mom and my dad. Their story starts in Mexico. My father was from a small ranch, while my mother was from a small town. One day my father travels to be with his aunt for a while, where my mother happened to be hanging out after school. So soon they started playing sports with each other and they both became friends immediately. Until my father travels to the US and they manages to stay in touch with my mother by writing her cards. Fast forward a couple years, my mother contracts a severe disease called pregnant with my older brother. Just kidding. I love him. And I know he loves me because he's stuck with me forever. Ha ha ha. Chapter 3 When you were little, what did you want to be? Good question. When I was little, I wanted to be famous. I'd have fanatics, much attention, a pool at my house, sparkles. Did I mention the pool? Even at this age, who doesn't want to be famous? I know I would, especially 5-year-old me. I'd be in movies, like adventures or comedies, with money I would earn to buy a pool or puppies. Although my parents insisted on me being a successful doctor, I wanted to be famous. I wanted to go to the movies because I'd be starring in them. I desired to meet Buzz Lightyear in the gang, and then again, maybe doctors could be famous. But I mean, why wouldn't they? Thought Albert Einstein, 5-year-old me. Up to this day, I have absolutely no clue what I want to do. Huh. I guess I'll stick with the whole idea of being famous for the sake of poor patients of mine if I became a doctor. But until then, I'm still thinking. Chapter 4 Almost everyone has a happy place. My happy place is a nice place where there are tall trees, wild animals, activities called camping, but I like to call it adventure. There's so much to do whenever I'm out camping. You could go fishing, take a nice hike in the woods, run away from the nasty creatures, or go stargazing at night. Maybe there you can just talk with your friends around the fire, talking about what you did that day. Camping is where I forget about all my missing assignments. Just kidding, but I forget about my worries or work accumulations when I go camping. The nice thing about camping is the peacefulness that it brings me. As amazing as it is, do not only see one squirrel, but I see two squirrels. And it's really peaceful. It may not be your favorite place to be, but I'm certain that camping is my Disneyland. Chapter 5 If you ever won an award for an amazing accomplishment, who would you thank in general? I would want to thank my parents. They have done so much for me. My mother is a stay at home mom who does her best to help with her family. She helps, and she only desires for me and my brother to be happy and success. My father as well. He is a hard-working man since he was at the age of 4. He told me that's why when I'm older, I'd aspire to find something that fulfills my interests and is enough to give them back to my parents to give them thanks and show them that I love them. I remember being a little one, received the card at school. I remember crying so much because I was scared of what my parents would do to me, but instead they were disappointed, which was the worst kind of punishment. In the end, they forgave me and pushed me a little more to catch up on schoolwork. Others have maybe celebrities as their influential person, but my influential people are my parents. Chapter 6. If you could travel back in time to fix something from the past, would you? I know for certain I wouldn't. It's natural for us to feel bad if we make a mistake in the past, but I just learned that we can only get better after our mistakes. Although one of my regrets are mostly from elementary, back in kindergarten I would look forward to the swings every single day. The swings were my treasure. One recess, I enjoyed my swing, and then this girl just shows up and starts counting on me. Like, why? There was an empty swing next to me. I moved to that one. She started counting on me there. I asked why. She said it was for her friend, and then she started kicking sand at me. Maybe things would have been different if I didn't pour sand over her head, but I would have. Then I wouldn't have received detention, and made my green card go yellow. Then again, it's only the past, and our mistakes are for us to get. Like that incident. Let's never speak of this again. Chapter 7. I remember my years as an uncontrollable little monster. There comes a punishment for every crime committed. In my case, it was recess or homework. Also, second grade teacher. According to the rest of the class, she was forgiving and kind. I went along with that as well, but that was until my Sandy and Migo from kindergarten was in our class as well. I assumed for revenge she would try to get me in trouble. For whatever, it didn't seem right. She reported me for making tamales out of mud and leaves from the trees. Talk about violation. She and my second grade teacher were the pair that would have ruined my views of people. But thanks to the help of Supermom, she told me how grown-ups just want the best for little ones. Especially a teacher for correcting me to do things a certain way, so I don't have to do it wrong again, or just better myself in general. And I know one thing, that my mother was right about grown-ups, and how they just want to help us out to get better. Chapter 8. After your childhood dreams, what do you want to do in your future now? The truth is, I don't even know. But I know one thing for certain is I'd like to go to a university to build upon knowledge of some things. Like in the 4th grade, we'd always have these art competitions for our yearbook cover, and I would always participate. The thing was, I'd go too much at drawing other things that wasn't even school related. And I just turned it in anyways, like a proud little girl. Like, what? And every time I was always certain that I'd win, but I never did. And I always tried the next competition. I was ready. I actually tried. I did something simple, and I still lost. Then I realized how much effort I was willing to give for a yearbook cover. Then I really enjoyed it. I discovered my hobby of drawing, and my willingness to do whatever I do. And I looked into the future. I'm ready to work hard and stuff. Yeah. Chapter 9. Hang in there, guys. Am I an optimist or pessimist? Yes. I see myself as a Tigger since he's so joyful, bouncy, and funny. Just minus the funny. It really depends on my mood, but if I have to say anything optimistic or pessimistic. But like I say, I just like to put smiles on the faces of others. Despite all the red cards I've received in the 6th grade, I've always had someone there to help me feel better. After crying over 2 red cards, I would have to show to my parents after school. No thanks. Since then, I wanted to pay it forward by trying to be the one that cheers up others after feeling sad. Other than making others happy, it's almost as if you get a nicer perspective of everything. Being nice really does bring you nice, especially if you have really nice people around you too. And that's what I really enjoy about being an optimist, 'cause you get to enjoy everything like it should be.
Number 10.
Life's too short to just let it go down the drain. It's like money. You need to spend it wisely. Let's say that you have $100. You can buy one of the 2 items. One of the items is something entertaining, but it's actually really useless. The other item is something that'll last long enough, and it's actually really useful. I think that last one is good enough for all of us. Despite all the downfalls and mistakes, the only thing you can do is to keep going forward. You still have all your life to apologize to whoever you'd like to talk to, and confess and all of that stuff, whatever. You still have all that time. And if there's any advice that I should be giving you, it's to live life slowly, and be careful with it. Right now we're all here with our friends, and we should all cherish our time together. And that's what I think we should do. We just need to live life slowly. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button. Thanks for listening to my last lecture.